Video. There we are. Oh, I'm on mute. How good. First time. Okay, 3 of us here now. Hello, whoever. Who's here? We're here. And who else? It says there are 3 of us, so that would be one would be me. Yeah. We'll just wait and see who else comes on. Oh, we got 5 now. Kathy's here. Hi, Kathy. And Julie's here. Hi, Julie. Say hello, Walter. Hello, Walter. Glenn is here. Hi, Glenn. And we'll just give another few seconds here, see if a few more people are joining us. Jody's here. And I'm sure others will join us shortly. There's 6 there. We always have more people show up on how many people are viewing it, but they don't all chat. There's secret lurkers back there. Come on, lurkers, just say hello, so we know who you are. Andy's here. Hi, Andy. And Catherine says hello, everybody. So Catherine's here, Kathy's here, Catherine's here, Andy's here, Glenn is here, Julie's here. So we have 7 people on now. We never get a lot. All right, so how has everybody been this week? We've had a really busy week this week on a variety of fronts, and we're going to talk about those. So let's talk about, Andy says, I'm hoping my sister Janine will join the chat. Well, that would be nice if she does. So anyways, the big thing of the week was, of course, my mother's apartment. As you know, we've been cleaning it out, and I'm very happy to say it is pretty much all cleaned out, thanks to the son to a friend of mine. Well, Carol, you've heard me talk about Carol. She runs the scrapbook store I used to work at, Class Act, here in our town. And her son, he bought a house in another place about an hour east of us that he rents out, and he needed furniture and stuff for it. So good timing.
Well, I don't think he's renting the whole place out. I think he's just renting a part of it out.
Oh.
Because they go up there every weekend and spend the weekend there.
Oh, is that what they do?
Or something like that.
Well, okay. So now, but they didn't have anything. So when I first showed him the stuff, I figured, the couch, maybe the bed, I don't know. He said, I'll take it all. And I said, you can have it all. Not a problem. So he got his father with a truck and a trailer and another truck, and they came down, and on Tuesday, was it Tuesday?
No, Wednesday.
Wednesday and Friday. Wednesday and Friday, and loaded everything up, and off it went. So all we've got left is a couple of old patio chairs that have to go in the garbage, some old used medical equipment that's going in the garbage as well, and that's it. And some miscellaneous cleaning products to bring back home. So I put in the notice for my mother's apartment. Of course, you've got to give them 2 months, 60 days. So it's her apartment until the end of November. And, unfortunately or fortunately, I'm not sure which, depends on how you look at it. My mother had custom drapes made about 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago, just after she got moved into the apartment, for the windows. And as I like to call them, they're old lady funeral curtains. They were expensive as heck. They're these shears, but they have blinds, like blinds that are built into them. So when they're open, they look like regular shears. When you close them, they still look like shears, but they have veins in them, like blind things.
Yeah, so it closes up. When they close off, they look, they become more opaque.
Hi, Angela. And but they were expensive. I mean, they're $8,000 worth of these shears. But
you've got 3 huge windows and patio doors. And they're, they're expensive. And actually, they're really not worth that much money
No.
because I had to take them down for when they were replacing the windows.
Yeah.
And I took them down and then put them back up again. And they didn't think they were really worth that kind of money because they weren't really built all that well.
No. I call them the old lady funeral curtains because they have valance on them.
They have a valance, it drapes
Drapes and-
across, and it sort of looks like, and the toppers on top of the door and in the
Yeah.
bedroom sort of remind me of
The lining of a casket.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can get buried in them.
Yeah, really. Well, yeah. But anyways, they made her happy. And that was all it was about at the time. So if they made her happy, that was good. But the problem is, what are we going to do with them? They're accustomed to those windows. They wouldn't fit anything in our house. Plus, we wouldn't want them in our house. My sister, she gags every time she looks at them. She doesn't want them. So I told the landlord, the superintendent, I said, so any problem if we just leave the window dressings? And she said, no. I mean, when my mother moved into the apartment, there were some blinds on all the windows that belonged to the people before her that were there, and we bought them for $300 because at the time, we didn't have anything to put on the windows. So I figured, well, they're there. $300 didn't seem unreasonable, although they were just plastic blinds. But as we said, these are huge windows. And so I thought, well, we could offer next people come in the same kind of thing, see if we get some money for them. But probably nobody wants to pay for them, and you'd never get what she paid for them out of them, not even 10% of it.
Yeah,
So-
not only that, if somebody turns them down, then
Then we're going to have to take them down.
yeah, I don't want to have to
So,
take them down
no.
again.
So they served their purpose, and so they're there. But I was happy to see all of her furniture and stuff like that go to someone we know, for one thing, and somebody who needs it, as opposed to it going to a charity place or something like that, because really you don't know. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. I don't know what's going to happen to this either. I mean, except I know the people that've got it, but it was better that way. And all of her, like, we kept her Royal Daltons because I don't know what we're going to do with them. She has 12 or 15 Royal Daltons that were given to her over the years by us and by other family members, and some that she bought, and those are always sort of her thing. But there's no place to put them, so I wrapped them all up. I labeled the box with what each one is, and they're sitting in a closet in our place. My mother was talking about giving some close friends, maybe some as, kind of gifts and that. And I said, great, I said, once we get you situated in a nursing home, I said, we can go through that stuff and you can decide what you'd like to give to who. And now there were a couple that I kept for myself, and my sister kept one. There was one, I think my sister actually got it for my father one year. It's called the Chief. It's Indian, like North American Indian with a headdress and the whole bit on it. And the reason she got it for him, there's a running joke in my family. My father always had a perpetually red face because he worked outdoors all the time. And the joke always used to be, of course now it's not probably politically correct, but we used to call him the Indian, that he was an Indian because he was a red face. Yeah, not politically correct anymore, but whatever. And so I think she got this for him one year for his birthday or something as a bit of a joke. So she took that one, and I took the two that my mother had. There's an old lady quilting. How appropriate, eh? And
look like an old lady quilting.
yeah,
Yeah.
screw off. And yeah, well, it still looked better than here. No, what was I going to say? Oh, and the other one was a bit, she belonged to the Royal Dalton Club, which was just another money grab from the company that made these things. But I guess every month they sent her a newsletter with pictures of the latest exclusive to the club figurines you could buy. And I think she bought one that showed this lady sitting in a chair with a little Royal Dalton statuette beside her, and she's looking in the official Royal Dalton book, which my mother also had. I think we got rid of that when we moved her out of the house. Either that or my sister took it. I don't know where that went. So I brought those home and put them on we took her dining room table too. Yeah, my sister decided when we're first looking over the stuff in the apartment, I said to my sister, "Is there anything in here you want?" There's a fruit fly. It's a pet.
What, your sister said there's a fruit fly?
No, there's a fruit fly. Squirrel. I said to her, "What do you want? Anything here you want?" Well, there were a couple things she wanted. I said, "Fine, take them," because there isn't really anything in here that I want, except I kind of wanted the dining room table. Not because it's a particularly fine piece of woodwork, and not because I don't have a dining room table, because we have a dining room table, but because it folds up into about this wide and about this long, and you can put it up against a wall. And I thought, well, now that I got rid of the organ, I had that space down there, I could put it in there, and when I have to spread a quilt out to put the backing on, I could put the table together, and you drop the leaves in, it might
Yeah, it's
work
a
for that.
tiny, it's a little skinny table, but then it has all these leaves that make it a big dining room table. And the reason your mother had that was because
She
she
didn't
lived
really
in a
have a
very
dining room.
small bungalow and they didn't really have a dining room. So she had it against the wall in her living room. So whenever she had people over, she could pull it out and they'd have a
Yeah.
table in the middle of the living room.
And I also thought it might be handy in our rec room anyways, when we have people over or something, and you always need, you've got food out and stuff. I usually got out my collapsible tables for that and put a tablecloth on them. Well, now I've got this, it's a little nicer, and multi-purpose. Well, then my sister announces to me, "Oh, you want that?" And I said, "Well, yeah, why do you want?" Well, she was thinking that maybe someday Sarah, that's her daughter, who's going to my niece. She's going to University of Guelph right now. Um, Maybe someday when she had her own apartment or something, she might need it. I said,
Well, and then she didn't want you to keep any of the dishes either, so she
No.
kind of kept them for your niece too.
"Yeah, I know, but well, she didn't want those." But anyways, we'll come to the dishes. So I said, "Well, let's put it this way then." My sister didn't have any place to store it anyway. Said, "Well, just keep it in our place, and when the day comes that Sarah wants it, says by then we probably won't have any use for it anyway, so Sarah can have it." So we got to recover the chairs on it because they're a mess. We bought the material for that, just have to get around to it. When I say we,
I'll get around to it.
I mean Walter. We have to.
I need to get some batting. Or
Yeah, we
something.
do have to get batting because my batting supply after today's quilt is low. I don't have much left, so not enough to do
I'll
the
see
chairs.
if they have any thicker batting than what you.
Yeah, well, they have different stuff there. Actually,
Yeah.
she was a little low yesterday on batting when I was
Yeah.
taking my class, but she's getting more in. But
Yeah.
whatever. So, anyways, yeah, and then there was the dishes. My mother's good dishes, plus she had her mother's good dishes, and I don't eat them. My sister didn't want them. Nobody around, so I
And
actually
we weren't going to ship them to BC. So.
no. Well, my brother wouldn't want them.
No.
So I put them up on Kijiji. I sold them for $100, and they were, well, you got 12 place settings. Complete.
Well, there is somebody on Kijiji that's asking $1,200 for them, but
Which for my mother's or
yeah,
my
for your
grandmother's?
mother's.
What, for the silver birch?
Yeah,
No. Okay.
but they have to get it. They haven't gotten it yet.
No.
Or I don't see how many people are going to buy it for $1,200.
Yeah. Well, anyways, what does it matter? And my grandmother's, which were even older, those, I mentioned it to Carol, the mother of the guy that took all the furniture. She was talking about that she didn't have any decent dishes and everything was mismatched and that. And I says, "Do you want a set?" So she got a complete set of my grandmother's dishes, which are actually close to probably 100 years old. Plus stemware. Not fine. It's not fine crystal. It's very fine glass. But in fact, it's so fine I don't even like using it because I don't have this thing I want to bite it, and if you did that, it would just shatter in your mouth. I don't know why. It's weird. Something lacking in my diet. Glass, I guess. So, anyways, we got rid of everything. I'm happy. Stress is off for that part of it. So, what are people saying? Jody says, "I'm sure it's a relief to have the apartment cleared before winter." Yes, it is. Now, it's still her apartment until the end of November. Actually, I'm kind of hoping they've been going into the apartments after people move out and redoing them. They're redoing the whole building. They're ripping up all the carpeting and putting laminate down. Now, I said to Walter, so I wonder what the legalities of that are, because the superintendent knows that pretty much we're out of there. If they approached me and said, do you mind if we come in and lay down laminate? My answer to that would be, no, just as long as now that means you've terminated the lease on this and we're getting money back, because it's
Yeah.
not the end of November. And if
Yeah, actually, they shouldn't be doing that because, well,
technically it's still
technically
my
it's
mother's
still her
apartment.
place, right?
Mhm.
So,
I mean, actually, I would welcome it if they turned around and said they'd like to do it, but I would say, well, sure, but then I expect then that we are moving up the termination date from the moment you walk into that door, and my mother gets some money back from that. So I don't know. We'll see what happens out of all of that. Hi, Brenda. Tracy says, I wish the show was on daily. Yeah, right.
oh boy.
Yeah, well, you'd have to pay us. It would have to be a full-time job, and we don't work cheap. Okay. So anyways, that's what's been going on with my mother. She's doing okay in the hospital. She had blood pressure was a little low at one point in the week, but it's back to normal now. And today she was getting her hair done in there, so I'd arranged for a woman to come and do her hair, so that should make her happy. Tried to phone her, but her phone is never within reach. Nurses come in and they, do what nurses do, I guess, and they put it off to the side and she can't reach it. And she doesn't bother to ask them to bring it back to where she can reach it. So I let it ring for about 10 rings. I know, okay, she can't reach it. And I could phone to the desk, but I don't really want to bother the nurses with it. And my mother she's with it, okay? She's not like, we're not saying she's a drooling idiot or anything in there.
She could have easily, she can watch what the nurses do and say to them, oh, by the way, can you put the phone back on me or
In fact, I
something
talked
like
to
that.
the nurses when we were there the other day, and I said to them, oh, by the way, I said, I know you're really busy and things, but my mother can't always reach the phone, And
Your mother can be kind of an idiot when she talks to these helpers anyway, because they don't, she could easily say to them,
I know.
can you do that? But it's like she doesn't, my sister Margaret used to do that. It's
Yeah, I
like she
know.
doesn't want to ask.
Well, they just love my mother. She's so nice. I've had more people come up to me and hug. Oh, she's such a sweetheart. She's such a dear. She's so nice. Who? Are you talking about my mother? Wow. Okay. Obviously, you've never had to live with her. So, I mean, it's not that my mother's a... Well, yeah, she is actually. To family. Well, let's not get in on that thing.
Yeah, it's my sister Margaret. She used to always be really nice to everybody else except for family. As soon as family came in, she became demanding, and she...
Yeah, I know. Angela says, is that a lighthouse in that photo on the wall?
Lighthouse photo.
No. Oh, I see what she's seeing in the hall. It's a windmill. Go figure, eh? Mr. Dutch.
It's my grandfather painted
Yeah,
that.
your grandfather painted that, didn't he? So it's an original Dutch master work. Did I say master or did I say bastard? I don't know. Never met your grandfather. Yeah, it's an original though. Catherine says, Tracy, another soap, Days of Our Lives. Or As the Stomach Turns. That would be good too. So anyways, Mom's doing okay, and heaven only knows how much longer she'll be in the hospital, but at least this one burden. Did you kill the pet?
No, the fruit fly keeps flying around.
Falling
Oh,
drink?
this time of year, you always get little fruit flies in here.
Yeah, well. So anyway, she's doing fine. Okay, so what's coming up on my vlog? I don't know. I can't remember. You'll see it on Monday. Walter had his first sewing class. How'd that go?
Well, all we did was thread our machines,
Your serger.
the serger.
Uh-huh.
I already practiced before I went there, and so he's the only one that knew how to do it. Everybody else there was pretty green. Most of them brought their stuff in, had no idea whatsoever how to use these machines. One lady brought it in a box. It was a Kenmore. She brought it in the box. A Kenmore was actually made by Janome. But anyway, she brought it in the box. It had been sitting in her basement for like 10 years. and it was dirty to begin with. She didn't even take it out of the box and clean it up to bring it in, right? And so she pulls it out of the box, and it's all dusty and everything. She's standing there dusting it off over at Shirley's, and she had no idea what to do with this thing.
Oh, I warned you about that.
Yeah, I know. And
Same
then,
with the group
and
when
then
I
there
took
were
it.
two ladies at the end of the table on the other end that looked like they were a lot of fun. They were sisters. They had their own sergers, and they had, I guess they had used them before, but hadn't used them a lot. So, they just were there to get a little bit better at, get some techniques and stuff. Lady sitting next to me, she had a serger. I don't know where she got it from, but I don't know if it was given to her or something. I can't remember what she said, but she had no idea how to use it at all. Right? She brought it in, and then there were two ladies across from me that had bought the new air threading one.
Oh, yeah, like
Because one never had a serger, never sewed ever on a serger. In fact, never sewed on a sewing machine before.
Huh.
And the other lady had a serger, but she hated threading it so much she never used it.
Well, that's basically why I bought the new serger.
Now I don't like. I mean, it's not that easy to. I mean, it takes you a few minutes to thread the thing, but I don't think it's awful.
Well, if you want to do, actually, the problem with it I found was there were many things that I wanted to do something quick, but if I needed to change thread,
Yeah, well,
or that, then you go, oh, maybe I'll just use the regular sewing machine for this instead.
Mm.
So with the air thread one, now it's kind of like, oh, no, like the other day when I made that bag.
Oh, it was funny when we went to that. She showed everybody how to do their own machine, right? Like the instructor, and then at the end of that, she went around and cut everybody's threads, so you had to do it again yourself.
Yes, and she does
right?
a sinister, fiendish laugh when she does it. Snap.
Yeah. So anyway, so there was the two ladies across from me. They were on the air thread serger. Of course, mind you, they didn't really have too much sewing experience. But I threaded my machine faster than they could do it on the air threader.
Well, the air threader, if it's your first time doing it, you gotta. It's not hard, but
There are steps to follow.
there are some steps to follow. Yeah, with it, but yeah,
And they actually did something where they didn't thread it right. Oh yeah, they got the left and right needles thread.
Yeah.
They had them reversed.
Oh, okay, can't do that. Causes a big knot. So, anyways, and I heard that you said that you corrected Shirley. I brought that up.
No, I
to
didn't
the-
correct her.
Oh.
I said to her, she was threading it, but she wasn't really explaining what you do with the threads when you got them threaded.
Oh, that's right.
Right? And I wasn't sure when I was threading it on Sunday whether they went under of all of them went under the foot or some of them went under the
No,
foot
they all
or
go
what.
under.
So I just asked her to point that out, and she goes, "Oh yeah, they all have to go under the foot and to
Under
the right,
to the
left or whatever."
To the left.
Well, that wasn't a correction. That was just.
Oh, okay.
I just thought, okay, I was doing it myself the night before, and the big question that came to my mind is, what do I do with these threads?
Oh.
Right?
So why didn't you ask me?
Because you were in bed asleep.
Oh, whatever. So, yeah. So your second class is coming up. Tuesday.
Oh, Tuesday.
I had my second embroidery class. I'm not learning a lot yet. I've learned a couple of things, but kind of the same thing. All these people have these, like, there's only two of us that have the machine like I've got, which is the top of the line one. The other ones the poor people have the, yeah, right, snotty hair about an embroidery machine, have the 500, which are decent machines. But most of them the same thing. They've got these embroidery machines, but they have never used them. Or haven't used them very much. And they've had them for quite a while, kind of a thing. So I'm thinking, it's an awful lot of money to spend on an embroidery machine if you're not going to use it, or, and some of them said they were afraid to touch it in case they broke it. I don't know. You get a manual with it. I've been having a lot of fun with mine. In fact, I've got something to show you in a minute about that. But whatever. So
Well, there's
what?
that guy, Jeff, right, at my stained glass class. He said that he bought this expensive one. I don't know how expensive it was. An expensive embroidery machine for his wife a few years ago because she wanted one. And so he bought her this one for Christmas or for her birthday or something. I don't know what. It was a present, right? And it was expensive. But I don't know what he means by expensive. So
Yeah.
I didn't ask what brand it was. But anyway, so he said she has never used it. Ever.
Oh,
She wanted it. She's never used it.
why is she afraid of it?
I don't know. And that's when we ran into him at the grocery store last week or whatever. And he said he made this, I said was taking the serger class. And he says, oh, he looks at his wife, we have a serger at home too. And it never gets used. And you guys go, uh-oh, she was giving him an evil eye. And I said to him, I think you better not go there.
Well, anyways, Priest said those drinks make me want red grapefruit juice. Yes, the cocktail of this week is.
Well, we had.
This is a ghetto cocktail.
Yeah,
I can tell you.
He bought these fruit cups for his mother, these Dole fruit cups or whatever.
Peaches. Sliced or diced
Diced
peaches.
peaches, right?
In individual
no
serving
sugar
cups.
added. So we don't usually eat those. So I thought, well, I'll make a drink out of them. So I threw them into the blender and I added some frozen strawberries and we had a banana going bad. So I threw that in.
And a rotten banana. So I said it was pretty ghetto. And then there's rum in it.
And there's rum in it.
Yep.
And there's no added sugar or anything.
Oh, which is good for the next thing we're going to talk about. But before we move on to that, Priest says like prison wine. Oh, Julie says she's going to Holland next week.
Oh, wow.
So where are you going in Holland? Amsterdam,
Amsterdam, probably.
Amsterdam, Zwolle, Rotterdam, Big Dam, Little Dam. Everything's a dam.
Volendam.
Yeah, everything in Holland's
It's a damn country.
It's a damn country.
We have lots of dams.
It's a nice country. We should go back. It's a shame about the people. No. No, they're fine, mostly. Yeah, I'm just joking. Oh, she says all over, really.
Oh, so it'll take the big 2-hour drive from one side of the country to
So
the
that'll take you a day. What are you going to do the rest of the time? No, it's a very pretty country. It's very nice. It's not here. That's why I look at it. It's not here. So
I want to
anyways,
go back sometime.
yeah, well, we'll have to do that once we get Mother locked up and put away. Settled into a nursing home. So I did a new project. Finished. I haven't finished the quilting yet. I haven't done the actual quilting of it, but I was using the embroidery machine, so I made a little Christmas wall hanging. And there it is, and I embroidered little gold angels in the center and on each of the 4 corners. See it? And so, like I said, it has to be quilted yet. I designed it. And here's the back. Backing material is kind of fun. So it's just a small one. And instead of binding it, I actually did, and I've done this on a couple of smaller pieces, and I kind of like doing this. In fact, I'm very tempted to do this on a large quilt because it's a lot easier. It's called a blanket finishing or binding or whatever. Basically, you do it inside out, like a pillowcase kind of a thing, and then just pull it back the right way and then top stitch it all the way around. And actually, I think it does a really nice job of the edging.
Yeah, as long as you top stitch it straight.
Yeah. Well, it is straight.
The top part doesn't look too
Where? Where are you looking?
I'm looking, hold it up.
What?
It goes kind of like up and down.
Read my lips. Asshole. No, whatever. Yeah, well, you just show me your quilt, the next one you make. Yeah. Oh, haven't made one, have you?
Well, I have no desire to.
Oh, yeah, you got my sewing machine, you got a serger, and what have you made? Nothing.
No, a bag.
Oh, yeah, I helped. Yeah. Thank you, Catherine.
I
And-
put together your stupid cabinet yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
How do I have time to sew?
They like it. They like it. Julie's going over to visit good friends.
Glad you're not visiting bad friends.
Well, yeah, you hate that. Tracy says Christmassy. You got it. It is a Christmas thing. Yeah. It's a wall hanging, I think. Anyways, okay, so that was, and I was using the embroidery machine on it, so I still have to quilt it. And if you've seen some of my idiot quilter stuff in my vlogs, you know that I've been experimenting with ruler foot quilting. So we'll see. I'll try it on that too. Give me more practice.
By
So,
the way, we're eating Dutch cheese. So
yes, what kind of Dutch cheese?
it's spiced Gouda.
Spice Gouda. Gouda for you?
Yeah.
Gouda for me. So, speaking of cheese and things that make your heart plug up, we had physicals this week with his doctor, who's now my doctor as well. Yeah, it was interesting. So, she thinks I might have a heart murmur. That's news. Nobody's ever told me that one before. In 61 years, no one has ever said, "Hey, I think you have a heart murmur." And I said, "What
You
makes
can
you?"
develop it as you get older.
Oh, maybe. But I'm not old. Dirt. So anyway, she's sending me off on Monday night. I have to go at 6:30 to have a thing.
EKG.
Yeah, EKG. AKG?
Or either that or an echocardiogram could be.
Well, I think it's an echocardiogram.
Well, it
That's-
could be.
That's what it said on the form.
Okay, well, it's
So, I
either an
don't know.
echocardiogram or an EKG.
So what do? Open my mouth and yell inside, and if they hear an
Yeah.
echo, they know that I'm hollow? What?
Yeah.
How's that work? Anyways, she mentioned something about ultrasound, so I don't know. So she says, well, I don't know. I can't be sure, she says, but, well, we should test this out. And then she's telling me that my blood pressure might be a little high. She's not sure about that. So she wants to see me in 3 months' time. And she wants me to monitor my heart every day. Well, we've got 2 pulse things. Ironically, I just got, my mother had one at her place. So I've got it now, and he's always had one because he's always had, like, for a long time, he's had
Elevated blood pressure.
elevator, yeah. So I've done the readings for a couple of days in a row. I write them down, and according to them, I should be dead. So I don't know. It's weird, this blood pressure thing. Oh, and then she said, yeah, she weighed me, which I knew she was going to do, but because they always do that. And she says, well, yeah, you know, maybe lose 5 pounds. And I thought, oh, you're going light on me on that one. I would have thought you would have said lose like about 25 pounds. But anyways, then she always wants to know. So she says, now I know you were never a smoker, right? I says, that's right. I've never been a smoker. Never have. And she says, and like this was based on the first time I saw her back a couple of months ago when she was doing the preliminary questioning and things because I was a new patient. Saying, so, and you drink, how much do you drink? And I said, well, I don't drink during the week. And I only have a few glasses of wine on the weekends. And she goes, yeah, I think you said 8. Oh, did I say glasses or bottles? Whichever with it. But that wine's supposed to be good for you. She didn't say anything about that, but I got the feeling that maybe shouldn't drink too much. Can't have too much. Yeah. But anyways, so generally speaking, I don't know. She's got me worried about this heart murmur thing. So she says, does your heart race? No.
But your pulse
Yeah.
seems a little high.
My pulse has always been fast. I'm a short person. I walk fast. What do you want? I burn up a lot of energy. Unlike you. We're walking along, and then suddenly I'm looking, and where's Walter? Oh, 3 blocks behind me.
I was reading that your walking speed is determined by how your personality, your belt is and stuff, and you can't change that.
You used to walk faster.
I do not.
You
I did
used
not.
to. Yeah, you did.
I was always trying to keep up with you. I know I gave up.
Yeah. Yeah. Then you go disappearing too. So I need a little leash on you. Didn't
Well,
you?
what about you? You always go and try and go to somebody else's car in the parking lot.
Well, they all look alike to me.
Yeah. Mine's not the one that has the baby carrier in the back.
That one was a shock, but the best one was that day that I came out of that grocery store, opened up the door, got into the driver's side, and looked over, and there's a woman behind the steering wheel. I'm like, "What are you doing in our car?" And then I realized, and there was people in the back seat going, "Wrong car, sorry."
And it was a completely different color than my car.
Well, I was preoccupied.
She was parked behind me.
Well, you pulled ahead or something.
I did. I pulled ahead.
Well, you see, you did that on purpose. You knew I'd get in somebody else's car then if you did that.
It was a red car. My cars are blue-green, so how can you mix them up? And it was a van too, and mine's not a van.
Well, I also thought when I got in, geez, I don't remember having to step up this high. I was thinking about something else. I don't know. My mind was going about something else. I wasn't paying any attention. But anyways, she had a bit of a joke out of it. Let's see. What are people saying here? Glenn says that it gives dimensional working pictures, the echo thingy. And he also says murmurs are usually benign. Yeah, I read something about something called innocent murmurs or something like that. Julie says no need to worry. A lot of people have heart murmurs. Yeah, I read that on the internet too. And Andy says I was diagnosed with a heart murmur when I was my early 30s. I'm still kicking. Well, that's good to know. Yeah, well, I don't know. I have white coat syndrome. I don't like doctors particularly. I mean, she's very nice and she's very thorough, and at least she was gentle when she gave me the digital exam. Oh, well, it was one thing
She's
about
got
it.
small fingers.
Yeah, but she does it in a very classy way, not like my old doctor. My old doctor, it was like he might as well have been wearing leather and had me strapped up against a crossbeam or something for that. She at least like is very, I don't know, sensitive about it, I guess. Whatever. It's not like my other doctor had small hands too, but he was putting his whole fist up there trying to grab my heart through my whatever. But good thing, no, though, my kidneys are fine, she says, and my cholesterol level's okay. I'm on medication for that, but I've been on medication for that for years. A very low amount of medication. And then he had to show them your rash.
Well, she sucked me into getting a vaccination. So,
For shingles.
for shingles. So.
And now he's having a reaction.
And it's itchy today.
Is it tender?
Look away.
Come on, let me see.
It doesn't hurt as bad as it did yesterday.
Baby. Apparently, she told me I'd had the shingles shot in 2012. Don't remember that. Don't remember the doctor gave me. I had shingles in about 1989. But according to her, from my old doctor's records, I'd gotten the shingles shot in 2012. So, news to me. Then she asks me, so when was the last time you had a tetanus shot? Not really sure. I think I got a tetanus shot. It was either
It was probably
when we went to
2008,
Egypt. Yeah, it might have been when we went to Egypt.
Because that's when I got mine last time.
So I
She gave me
should
one.
get a tetanus shot now.
Mhm.
Again, because she says they're good for about 10 years. There goes that fruit fly again. He had a friend.
In fact, she gave me that on this arm and a tetanus shot in this arm. So at the same time. Who knows? Maybe that's why I have the reaction.
How is she at giving needles?
All right.
Just jab her or what?
Well, she does those ones in your muscle.
Yeah, I
right?
know.
So it's sort of like a jab.
Because that one that took blood there last week too. Well,
She
finally
gave me a flu shot before, and she was fine.
Well, anyways.
She trained to do that. So.
Well, yeah, lots of them are trained. That one that was taking our blood, or that one.
I've never had a problem with them.
Well, I've never either, but I've never been to them. I've always went to the other places.
She's taken my blood many times.
Well, it's when she put the second vial on. She's like in there, like.
Maybe you moved your arm.
I didn't move anything. It was there. How could I have moved? I'm sitting there with this thing stuck on my arm, and she's like sucking it all out of me. Brenda says, or Tracy says, I had shingles when I was anorexic. Well, that's not good.
Either one.
Glenn says, I'd be more worried that you are getting into vans with strangers. Well, I don't do it all the time.
That's actually the first time.
Actually, that's the only time I've ever done it. Although,
But-
what?
Yeah. We'll be going out. I usually drive, right? So I used to
Driving
have,
Miss Daisy.
started off, I used to have a red truck, like a pickup truck, right? But it was a Nissan small pickup truck, right? So we'll be going out in the parking, it's red. We go in the parking lot, right? To go get in the car. He ends up walking a little bit ahead of me because I'm a little slower, right? So there's an F-150 full-size Ford pickup truck in the parking lot,
What's
right?
an F-150?
It's a full-size, it's red, right?
Oh,
Got
okay.
the color right anyway.
Right.
So he walks over and he's trying to get into, or he's standing next to the Ford 150 and I go, well, that's not my truck. It doesn't look anything like my truck, right? And he goes, oh. So like, and he's done it before where I used to have a black Vibe too. And he's walking through the parking lot to some other black car, which isn't even a Vibe.
Oh, come on. But you're just being nasty because you parked your car in amongst all these other black cars because you knew it would confuse
Yeah,
me.
I know. It isn't even a Vibe. Mine was a hatchback.
Well,
and
you don't know it's
walks next to a 4-door sedan that has a baby thing in the back seat.
Well, I
And
have
he's
to admit,
expecting
when
it's my car.
when I looked in there, I was trying to figure out when we
Seriously.
had the baby.
Talk
But,
about observant or not.
yeah, well, you do it to
And
confuse me.
he still, I buy a new car. I thought, okay, I got to get a unique color because then he would be able to figure out which car is which, right? So I have a very unique color. I have a Honda CRV that's a blue-green. There's only about 2 or 3 of them in the city that I've ever come across since I've had that one. So what's he do? He'll walk next to another car that's not a Honda CRV that isn't even the same color as what I've got and stands next to it.
I'm not returning it. I'm just slow.
This is part of the problem is he can't tell the difference between one car and another. He doesn't know if a Corvette drives by or something like that. He'll say, "Oh, that's a really nice car. I wonder what kind it is."
Yellow?
And you can just look at it and know it's a Corvette. So.
It's yellow. I don't know. Well, now I just look for the license plate on your car because I at least remember your license plate. You never remember your license plate.
It's BFWA.
WA. Big, wide, no, it's BWFA. Big, wide, fat ass. That's how I remember it. So, yeah, whatever. What are people saying here? Oh, Carol's here. Hi, Carol. And Mitzi's here. And Andy says, don't let Steven go by himself. I always find my own car.
That's a surprise.
Oh, Carol says, Steven's had a haircut. Yep. Walter had one too. Number 2 got cut this week. Number 1 he's saving for
No,
a
I
month
think
later.
I got it cut last week.
How can you tell? Julie says, cannot get shingle shot out here over here in the UK until you're 75. That's
Well,
interesting.
actually, they had 2 shots that you could get. There's one that's covered by the government, and it's supposed to be 75% effective, but it's only covered it after you're 65 for that one. And it's not as expensive as the one that I got. Then there's
Did our insurance cover that?
yeah, no, it covered. I have to pay I had to pay $18 for it.
Oh.
But
But you said that one was...
no, the other one was cheaper. She said she didn't give me a price on the other one, but she said the one that she's giving me is newer. It has more side effects, but like that. But
So what? The shingles aren't asphalt? They're made out of that corrugated
no, they're
stuff?
supposed to. This one is supposed to be 95% effective or something like that.
You didn't get it.
So anyway, but I need 2 shots. I need the shot now, and I need the shot after. Well, if I had to get the drug itself, it's $300 for the shot. But our insurance covered it. Covered all $18 per shot. So I'll need the other one too.
Oh, so it's a 2-parter.
It's a 2-parter.
Oh,
I get the other one.
when we go again.
You have to get 2 to 6 months later, you got to get the other shot. So
Oh.
when I go back the next time, I have to get the other shot.
Oh.
But Anyway, so I said, well, give me the one that's good. So
Give me
But
the good shot. Yes. Um, let's
it's
see.
Shinrix or something like that.
Let's see. Carol says, Stephen, I feel your pain. I'm directionally challenged. Oh, I'm kind of that too.
Actually, there's a woman that we knew one time. Remember that woman that she parked her car at Sears? Right?
Oh, you
Oh,
mean, yeah, friend of my mom's.
friend of his parents. She parked her car at Sears, right?
At the shopping center.
At one of the malls, and so she came out, but she went out. Apparently, went out a different entrance, right? Couldn't find her car, right? Right. So like she parked it on like I think like I just for an example, she parked it on like the east side, and she ended up going out on the west side and looked for her car and looked for her car and couldn't find it, so she phoned the police and all this other stuff. And then a day later, they found her. Later that night, they found her car. It was parked on the other
Where she left it.
where she left it, and
Carol says, have done that before, Panic City. Yeah, I know the feeling, because you come out sometimes in the parking lot, and, well, and he does this, where did we park the car? Was it over? I don't remember. You were driving. It's not my job to remember where the car is. Your job is
if
to
I
drive
go
me
to
there and
certain
bring it.
stores, I always seem to park it in one spot. But if I end up switching where I park
Oh,
it,
no, you don't. You spend half the day looking for the perfect parking spot.
well, I don't like parking next to certain cars because
What? Be like ones that look the same color as yours? I thought you liked to do that,
no,
so I'd be confused.
I don't like parking next to cars that'll ding my doors.
Too late. Parking in Walmart's not the car doors you have to worry about. It's the ones with the shopping carts you got to worry about. As they come barreling down. Let's see.
And then the people that drive me nuts. Okay, that'll be
What's pissing you off?
Yeah.
Setting off the car alarm helps a lot. Oh yeah, setting off the car alarm. Yeah, you got that panic button or something on those of you. But anyways, yeah. So I'm looking forward not to doing this thing to find out whether I've got a heart murmur or whatever. But speaking of medical things, I have now children. Get all cozy around the fire. It's story time. It's time to tell you the saga of the wheelchair. Yes, once upon a time, in an apartment building in a town not far away, there was an old lady who had a wheelchair.
That was my mother's wheelchair.
It was this old lady's son-in-law's mother's wheelchair. Anyways, so my mother got a new wheelchair. The other wheelchair was his mother's at one point. Then my father used it for a while, so that wheelchair has been around the block a few times. Well, the thing about wheelchairs is this. It's still perfectly okay wheelchair. It's not like the wheels are dropping off it or anything like that. It's a little on the old side, but it's fine. And you can get a new cover for it for obvious reasons. But you'd think you could donate it somewhere, right? No.
Nobody
you can't
will take
donate a wheelchair. No one will take it. They won't take it at a nursing home. They won't take it in a hospital. They won't take it anywhere. They don't want them. Now, these wheelchairs are not cheap. These wheelchairs cost $10,000. However, our government pays for most of it. For example, my mother just got a new wheelchair. It was $10,000. She only had to pay $750 towards that wheelchair. The rest of it, the government covered. Okay? But you've got these perfectly good wheelchairs and nowhere to get rid of them.
Well, my mother had two. She had that one that we were using, and then she had a special one because during the course of when she was in nursing home, she had osteoporosis, and at one point in time, she permanently broke her leg.
Yeah.
Right. So she had a special wheelchair where her legs were sticking out on. Right.
Yeah.
And so that was a rigid one that wouldn't fold. Right. And I took it with me when she passed away. So, but it was taking up a lot of room, and I looked around to try and donate it somewhere, and I found one place near Ottawa, but then when I messaged them, they said, sorry, but they weren't taking anymore, right? And so I looked around, we looked around, we finally found somebody that would take it, right? But it was really hard to get rid of it, and I didn't just want to throw it out.
No, and the person that took it, we found out about this person through a roundabout way. Somebody told us they knew somebody who knew somebody that they had a child or something, well, an adult child or something that had been was in a bad way, and they couldn't really afford a wheelchair. Although they should have been able to get that.
They would have been able to get it, but see, it depends. It depends on their situation.
I guess.
Who knows? Maybe they were illegal immigrants and they couldn't get it.
Well, I don't know. But anyways, they really were desperate when we said, we've got a wheelchair. If you want it, you can have it. And they were really happy to get it, and that's great. I mean, I was glad to see that the wheelchair went to somebody who needed it. But this one of my mother's, I knew this was going to happen, that we'd have no place to donate it to. And Julie said on here, I think, the Red Cross will take it off you, she says.
In Canada?
I don't know. I don't know if they will in Canada.
Because I don't think they will.
Because I thought we checked that out and they didn't want it either. Anyways, I put it up on Kijiji, which is, an online selling and buying site. And I put it up and said, free. Okay, this wheelchair. Well, I got this one person who contacted me within an hour after I'd put it up on Kijiji. And they sent me kind of a broken English message that they were interested in blah, blah, blah. And I said, sure, you can have it. We'll make arrangements. Well, this person didn't know their head from what. I don't know where they lived, what their working situation was, or why they wanted it. But they were trying to make arrangements with me that I didn't understand. And they called me. I had put my telephone number my cell phone number in the ad because we were in and out all the time. I figured it was easier that way. 11:45 at night, I get a phone call on my cell phone. It's this person. I wondered if they could come over now and pick up the wheelchair because they couldn't get there earlier in the day because of work or something like this. And I went, well, first of all, I'm trying to explain to them, and they wouldn't let me explain anything. That was the thing that was bugging me, and I couldn't understand them. For two reasons I couldn't understand them. One, their cell phone signal kept breaking up. They're probably on Rogers. Two, they had an accent. Don't ask me what kind of accent. Haven't got a clue what it was, because between it breaking up and their broken English, I was really having a hard time understanding them. So I'm trying to explain to this person that I didn't have the wheelchair at my home right now, because it was still over at my mother's apartment, which is another town 20 minutes away from us, or better. And it is 11:15 at night. So I'm trying to explain this to the person, and they wouldn't let me get a word in edgewise. So I finally said, look, send me an email tomorrow letting me know what time is good for you to pick it up, and I will get the wheelchair, bring it to my house, and then, we can get this out of the way. Well, they never sent me an email. So I waited and I waited. Then finally I did get an email saying, okay, what's a good time to pick it up? And believe me, I'm using proper English, and that's not how the sentence was when it was written. It didn't have any prepositions in it or anything. What are you looking at?
Nothing.
You're staring down at things. What, you looking for bugs?
No.
Oh, whatever. So I wrote back and said, how about tomorrow, 5 o'clock? Let me know if that works for you. Never heard from them. Waited. 5 o'clock came the next day. They never showed up. No email, no phone call, nothing. Pissing me off. I left it for that night. But in the meantime, I'd had several other people inquire about the wheelchair. And I said, well, here's the situation. I have somebody that's already sort of wants it, but if they don't show up to get it, I'll let you know. And, I was doing it in the order of when I got the emails. And, I'll make arrangements. Well, this person never showed up. So I contacted the first one on my list and said, if you're still interested, the other party didn't pick it up, it's available, let me know when you can get it. Never heard from that person. Another person had called me when we were out, and at that point I didn't know about the first person, whether or not this person was going to show up or not show up. And I said, well, look, I got 2 people ahead of you, kind of a thing with it. But I said, if those all fall through, I'll give you a call and let you know that, or send you a message. Well, that person didn't show up, as I said. But I got another message from another lady who sounded like she was local. These other people, I don't know where they were from around there. In fact, there was one guy, we had a walker as well, an old walker of my mother's. And I put it up, and this guy was coming from Mississauga, which is on the far side of Toronto from us. But he did show up, and he did pick it up and everything, and he was happy to get it, and his mother-in-law needed it or something. So I thought, okay, great. Nice to know that it's going to go, and someone's going to get use out of it, kind of thing. So this other person said that their mother was in a local nursing home, not far from us, actually. So this person sounded local, and that she, her mother didn't have a wheelchair because she could still sort of walk, but, she couldn't walk that far, and they wanted to take her out, to the park and things like that. And I said, great. I haven't heard from these other people. It's yours. She came right over. When she said she was going to come, got it. She was happy as you know what about the whole thing, and I was really happy that it was a local person that was getting it. So, but you'd think there'd be ways to recycle medical equipment, especially things like wheelchairs and walkers and that. Now, we do have a couple of other things, but I think one of them is definitely going in the garbage, which is a shame, but we have no place to store it, and no one's going to want it because it's a raised toilet seat thing. Don't want that. The other thing, though, is a bath seat for helping getting in the tub and that, and it's brand new.
It's never been used.
It's never been used because the physiotherapist got it for my mother, and they never billed us for it. They said that there would be a copay on it, but there was no copay. And if it didn't work out, they would just take it back. Well, it didn't work out. The physiotherapist knew that. It didn't fit. It physically didn't fit because of the way her apartment was designed. So it's never been used. Still got the tags on it. I don't know what to do with it. Because I may put it up on Kijiji. We've never been billed for it. I don't even know who it came from, what company, because there's no name or anything on it. And so, there you go. All this stuff, the government pays for a lot of this and whatnot, and then it seems like a waste, my way of thinking. So it should go to people who need it. So, whatever. That's the story of the wheelchair. Okay, something totally different. Some of you may have seen, I'll be talking about it tomorrow, but I put up a short little idiot quilter episode, 28. We went to IKEA and got an Alex, and that's not a person. That's one of their drawer sets, and it fits my embroidery threads.
It's a tall Alex.
It's a tall one. Some assembly required, which Walter's done it before. So, actually, it seemed
Actually, it wasn't too bad, but there were a lot of pieces to put together.
There wasn't too much cursing.
There was, it's basically the box that you have to cover. Actually, one nice thing is all the drawer glides were already pre-installed, so I didn't have to worry about that. And there's, how many drawers? 9 drawers?
9 drawers.
And all of them had to be assembled separately.
And it fits perfectly in the spot that I had, because I did not have a lot of room in my sewing dungeon in there, and I was using Ruscots, those little carts from IKEA before, which were great because you could roll them around, but they were taking up more space, and this is sort of tall and narrow, and there's plenty of room for expansion. And so if you see that video, you'll understand what I mean by expansion and that kind of thing. So that's kind of neat. I love going to IKEA though, because they always have
I always get them and I have to assemble them, right?
You're getting good at it. Maybe you get a part-time job assembling for IKEA.
No thanks.
Oh, well, whatever.
Not my favorite job.
I'm tool challenged.
And the thing's heavy.
Yeah, it does. Weighs a ton with it. Well, press board's that way. But anyways, wasn't a bad price. But we did have lunch at IKEA. We did not have their little Swedish meatballs, or as we like to call them, sawdust balls with white sauce. No one knows what that white sauce is. Even after you've eaten it, you still don't know what it is. But lately they've been having, a few times we've been over there, we've had the buttered chicken. And actually the buttered chicken was pretty good, except this time.
It wasn't very good.
Well, it's kind of tasteless.
Well, I don't know. This time they used those chicken strips now.
Yeah.
And last time I think it was actually chicken they used in. Like it was
I
like
thought it
more
was the same
chunks.
kind of thing. I don't know.
They were chunks,
It
not
depends who
strips.
cuts it up. I don't know.
Strips are cut. The strips were kind of mystery meatish.
Well, yeah. Well, you know, it was probably a Flukenburger or something like that, whatever they call their stuff. Alex is the only name you can pronounce. Why did they call it an Alex? Why didn't they call it a Blundedinker or a Bungestinker or a Raskakakanich or something else? And apparently those are really Swedish words. I thought they made them up, but I taught a girl a few years ago who lived in Sweden for a long time, and that's of course where IKEA comes from. And I said to her, tell me, are the things that they name their furniture, are those really Swedish words, or do they just make them up? And she says, well, actually, she says they are really Swedish words, although, she said, they do sort of blend things together with them. They're not like common words in the language necessarily every day, so, but they are actually real words. So, anyways, who's this, Glenn says you can donate the raised toilet seat too. Yeah, but where do you donate it, Glenn? That's what I've been having the trouble
Well, see,
with.
that's the thing is, are you talking in America or in Canada?
Well, Glenn's in the States.
Yeah, see, like here, a lot of that stuff's government provided, so
Our government
nobody
wastes
really
a lot.
want to take that stuff.
So, I don't know. He says nursing homes. No, you
Nope.
can't. No, we
They will
tried.
not take anything.
They won't take anything. Nope. You'd
No.
think, right?
No,
But
nursing
no.
homes, you cannot give
No.
anything to nursing homes.
Oh, if you're in the States, your nursing homes are probably, a lot of them are more private.
Mhm.
A lot of ours are
Are
government
government
run. And if it's government run, they won't take it. Private ones might.
They won't take it for sanitary reasons
Yeah.
and that's the same reason for the wheelchairs. And they say it's too much to disinfect them.
Yeah,
so.
Glenn says they're all private there, and he says, well, that's a waste. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. Like they will not take stuff. When my mom passed away, I asked them about the wheelchair, and they said no, we can't take them. For one thing, they said they have to be sanitized.
Yeah.
And they said, which I don't know why, because half their wheelchairs that they have there aren't sanitized.
Yeah, I know.
But not only that, they said if we accepted everybody's wheelchair that died in here, they'd have 1 million wheelchairs.
Yeah,
so.
true. So, yeah, so, you know, something that seems so logical and so easy. Not so logical, not so easy.
Yeah, I mean, it's great that the
our
government provides all this stuff,
Yeah.
right? But it ends up there's a lot of waste with it. So
Yeah, Glenn says there are a few county nursing homes, but they take everything because the government provides nothing. Yeah, you see, that's how it's done in the States. In Canada, it's a totally different ball game. So, you know, but I
even
agree,
that
it's a
one that
waste.
his mother got, did you pay anything for those?
No.
No, you didn't pay anything
Nope.
for those, yeah.
nope, didn't have to pay anything for those. So, anyways, those were covered. No, Tracy says, I tell people in IKEA they're going the wrong way, I'm evil. I know there's arrows all around, but don't you want to go the wrong way just to piss off IKEA? I mean, it's so controlled. I'm surprised they don't put in people movers on them. So you just stand on a little treadmill and you go around, and if you get off it when you see something you like and get back on it. But yeah, they have you all corralled in there, and it's like a little rabbit's warren as you go around the labyrinth of aisles. That's so you get to see everything, and that's when you see things. Oh, that looks good. I didn't know they had something like that.
Well,
I
no,
should
you
get
get
that.
to where somebody's real popular, and then you turn around and say, "Oh, apparently they're having a big sale in the other corner or something
Yeah.
like that." Let them all trot over
Trot
there.
over there,
so.
yeah. We call it IGEA anyways because an awful lot of gay people love IKEA, and they're there. There was those 4 little fruits that we were walking behind when we got in there, and then they threw themselves, these 4 young guys threw themselves all down on a double bed in there. One was checking his email, and I don't know, weird, just weird. In my day, we didn't do that kind of thing. Well, in my day, no one would have known we were gay. Knew, because we want to live. Glenn says, all our government money goes to the stupid legal battles of that orange piece of crap popcorn taking up space in the White House. That's for sure. Andy says, Glenn, now, be nice. It's Sunday. Yeah, it doesn't matter when it comes to Trump. I'm with Glenn on that one. But anyways, so that was an outing. So speaking of assholes, let's talk about our version of Trump, Doug Ford. He won this week. Remember we were telling you about him wanting, he wants to reduce the city council in the city of Toronto from 47 to 25 councillors, and because he's got a vindictive attitude, because
He ran for mayor of Toronto
And he
a
didn't get
couple
it.
of years ago and lost.
and now he's premier of the province, so he thinks he's got the power of God, not unlike Trump, and he's made it, he's reduced their city council because apparently he can do that. But the city of Toronto took him to court, and the judge in the court agreed with the city of Toronto and said that he can't do it. It's a violation of the Human Rights Code for some reason or other. With that, Doug Ford turned around and said, yes, but there's a little clause in the law called the notwithstanding clause, which basically says that your human rights can be temporarily suspended in times of national or provincial crisis, i.e., terrorism, war, whatever. But nobody in Ontario government has ever used the notwithstanding clause. It is sort of like a form of veto, like the President of the United States has. But it's just not right. I mean, it's there for extreme circumstances. Reducing a city council from 47 to 25 is not an extreme situation, but it's the way he could get his own way. So then, he takes it back to the courts, to the Court of Appeal, but he threatened the Court of Appeal. This is a Trump move, okay? He turned around and he said, fine, if you uphold the ruling of the judge that said this is against human rights, therefore he can't change the size of the city council, then he will enact the notwithstanding clause. So basically, he put the Court of Appeal between a rock and a hard place, and it's a win-win for him, lose-lose for everybody else, because he's saying, doesn't matter what you decide, I'm going to get my way. And he did. The court sided with him, probably because it's full of the judges were probably all people in his party, like not unlike what's going on right now with the court in the United States there with that, whatever, Kavanaugh or whatever his name is. So many parallels right now, Someone should make a movie. So basically he got his way. So now the city council, the clerk and everything are scrambling because this election comes up in the 1st of October, in 2 weeks. Less than 2 weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
And trying to get it all straightened out and so that it's a fair election and the whole bit. Now that just affects the city of Toronto. It doesn't affect any of the other municipalities like Orange City
he's
or
supposed
anything like
to be
that.
provincial premier, and he's spending all his time focused on Toronto.
Because he's a vindictive asshole who he just wants to prove he can get his way. It's like a little boy, like, I'm going to make you all suffer because you made me cry. Whatever. And now we're afraid that he may use the notwithstanding clause, and he has hinted at this with anything that if it doesn't go his way, he'll put it in the notwithstanding clause. Well, there goes democracy right out the window. And this is not something that our country is made of. So we've had protests and everything like that, but he thinks that the world loves him. Oh, geez, another Trumpism right there. Yeah, it's everywhere. So we're having lots of fun with this premier. And just like many of the Americans who are counting down to when Trump can be out of office, they've already started the countdown for when this guy can be out. Apparently, last I heard, it's 3 years and 8 months. So, whatever. We'll see what happens with that. He's an idiot. Okay, so what's people saying? Oh, Angela says, what about local church? No, they don't want it either. No. Oh, it's amazing when you try to donate things.
Oh yeah, like when we were donating stuff from his mother's place, we went to Missions for, did we say that last week?
Missions for Bibles. I don't know if we mentioned it. We may have.
And, dropped a bunch of boxes off there, and then they looked at us and they said, well, we can't take any more.
I said, we have 2 more carloads.
And then they said, well, try Salvation Army.
So I went to Salvation Army, and they took it. But they had a long list of things on outside of their building telling you what they didn't take.
Yeah.
Now, okay, I get it. They don't want people's garbage because they're reselling it. Yeah, okay, but this wasn't. I wasn't bringing them garbage. I mean, garbage was going in garbage, and heaven knows we took out enough of that out of the whole bit. But I thought, okay, you are the people who call me up every other day wanting donations for stuff, but you're a little picky here about the whole thing. And besides, if you take it to Value Village, which is another charity, their prices in there have gone up too.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of like the dollar store. Nothing's a dollar. So, I don't know. And Andy says, if we're lucky, they both will be impeached. I don't know if she means Trump and Ford or Trump
They don't
and that,
impeach
but
her.
we can't impeach. See, that's the other thing we can't do in our country, okay? We don't have impeachment. The only way you can kick out a government is that the opposing parties have to basically gang up so they have more votes than the party in power and have what they call a non-confidence vote, which means that basically they vote out the government and there has to go to election again. But you see, in Ontario right now, Ford has a majority government. So even if they wanted, if the whole of the NDP, the official opposition, if everyone voted against him, there wouldn't be enough votes to win. So hands are tied. Oh well, I guess assassination is out of the question.
Maybe he'll eat himself to death.
Yeah, maybe. He's a big fat pig anyways and a drug lord, so who knows. Anyways, yeah, Andy says Trump and Ford. So, moving on. What's eating Walter?
People in their cars.
Yeah, you've been having problems with that.
Yeah, well,
lately.
okay.
Well,
Like
actually,
when we
I bet
go to the art gallery last Sunday or whatever, somebody decided to park so close to my door that I had trouble getting in. Right? So, is it really necessary to park that close to me?
And it wasn't like there wasn't enough room.
No, I know. They,
You know.
they were kind of over on one side of the parking lot. I was surprised they didn't scrape the side of my car. Then today I'm behind somebody getting out of the Canadian Tire parking lot, and they don't have their turn signal on.
Oh, I
So
love those
which
ones.
way are you going? Are you
Pick a
going
direction.
left or are you going right? Right? So,
Hi, Nairi.
and then I was following this person who was going the same way I was going, which was right, and so I'm getting behind them, and they are going so slow down the road. It's a 50-kilometer-an-hour speed limit, and they were going 25.
Oh, it's kind of like when you and I are walking.
And then all of a sudden, I have a feeling they were reading something on their phone, because next thing you know, they became speed demon and started going fast.
Oh, probably.
And then
Distracted
last
driving.
week or whatever, I had to go take a detour somewhere, and so I'm on the detour, and there's a woman behind me in a car. She's right up on my bumper. Right, I was going 10 kilometers over the speed limit. She's right on my bumper, and I see in my rear window that she's going like this, as if like, why are you going so slow?
Did you make sure she understood that she was still number one in your
No,
books?
I didn't bother, because all I needed is an irate, what do you call it, somebody that was gonna go nuts on me for some reason. But I was going faster than the speed limit, and she was all uptight. And what I thought was funny is that she couldn't pass me because there was too much oncoming traffic.
Yeah, Glenn says road rage. Yeah, exactly. But one was following me one day when I was going over to the apartment. She was blonde too. And it was a she. Okay, I'm not saying that men don't do this as well, but it seems the ones that always are up my bumper are usually women. And she's got this look on her face like, can you go any faster? I was doing 10 kilometers over the speed limit on a country road. And the speed limit was 70.
I was good in
I was
the
doing 80.
pace. I wasn't going slow or nothing.
And she's got like, kind of thing. That's when you just want to slow right down, kind of a thing. But that's nasty. Not beneath me to be that way. But, yeah, I know. What's with these people? And it's
And why
like,
are they in such a hurry?
well, it's like they've all forgotten the rules of the road. It's like everything, they see a stop sign, that's just a suggestion. You know?
Yeah, like in our subdivision,
Or traffic
we
light.
have yield signs on.
No, we have stop signs.
Are they stop
They're
signs?
stop. They used to be yield, and they replaced them
Okay,
with
yeah,
stops.
there's a bunch of townhouses on the others as you're leaving the subdivision. Well, I always have to watch the traffic when you're coming out of the subdivision because they'll drive right through the stop sign in front of you.
Yeah, I know. Well, the day we were down the road, and that guy, it was a red light, and there was like cars were lined up for the red light. The guy pulled out of the lane, went around, made a right-hand turn,
This is something.
pulled a U-ey, and then went back
This
up
was
straight.
choice. This choice. Yeah, you can make a right-hand turn on a red light here, right? Anyway, so he made a right-hand. It was a red light, just turned red. He made a right-hand turn on the red light.
No, but before he made that, but he wasn't even at the light. There was a car ahead of him, stopped for the light.
Yeah.
He was in line. There was another lane, a turn lane. He was in the straight lane, and he pulled into the turn lane,
Yeah.
made a right-hand turn, made a U-ey onto the opposite, the street running perpendicular, which had the green light, and then made a right on that green light to continue on straight ahead.
He wouldn't wait.
He
for
wouldn't
the
wait
light
for
to change.
for a minute for the light to change. Like,
I'd never seen that before.
No.
That's the first
but
I've
that,
ever seen.
but
that.
then we saw the same thing again another day.
No,
we
I
saw
didn't see that.
well, when I saw another guy do the same thing.
No.
Maybe the same guy. I don't
Maybe.
know.
Who knows? I don't know. That's crazy.
Or maybe this is the new thing now.
Yeah,
do.
people
I
are
don't
so
know.
impatient when they drive.
Like, geez. But anyway, so moving on. What are we watching? I don't know if I mentioned this last week. I was watching this series called AD, Kingdom and Empire. It's on Netflix. Really good. In fact, there's a second season, but I haven't been able to find it on Netflix yet. But it basically picks up right with the crucifixion of Christ and then follows the disciples kind of a thing, and Pontius Pilate, the Romans, and the whole bit like that. It's kind of a historical political view of that time period and the whole bit. And actually, I kind of got into it. It was pretty good. And then we found on Prime is Amazon. If you don't have Amazon, like I pay for Amazon Prime. So I get their video.
Yeah, well, that
network.
was after the Emmys.
Yeah. This is
This
called The
award.
Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. It's a comedy. It's actually pretty good. We haven't finished watching, and there's a second season of it too, out now as well, I think.
No, I don't think so.
I thought there was.
No.
I thought I saw something.
No,
Like
it's coming soon.
that. Oh, okay. Anyways, we haven't finished the first season, so that's pretty good. But you have to have Prime to see it. I don't know. Was on anything else?
On what, on Prime?
Well, if it won Emmys.
Yeah, no, one Emmy's on Prime. It's Prime.
Oh.
It's a Prime. It's a Amazon initiated.
Oh, it's
show.
one of their own shows. Okay.
It's like that Man in the High Castle. Another season's coming out soon.
Oh, is it? I forgot what happened in the other
Yeah,
two
well.
seasons. It's been so long. And then you started watching it, but the latest version of American Horror Story.
Yeah, I
So-
started. He's upset because I started watching the
Yes,
first
I
two
am.
episodes.
Right.
And
Glenn
this
Smith-
one seems to be a little better than the last couple of seasons so far, even though it's still kind of, I don't know, it's kind of extreme.
Yeah, well,
But-
that one though, the worst one was that Rourke,
Yeah,
whatever.
that was awful.
That one was horrible. That season of that. We haven't seen any movies.
No, I don't think so. No,
okay.
we were busy this week.
Yeah, somebody mentioned last week Christopher Allen. I can't remember who mentioned this, but on YouTube. And I thought you were talking about this other guy that does scrapbooking and stuff, or has a store down the state somewhere and everything like that. Well, I found the one you're talking about. This guy's in New York. He's kind of an interior designer. He's an idiot. Sorry. But I watched this show, and I've never seen anybody as stupid as him. First of all, what he knows about decorating, he can write on the head of a match. Okay? And it'll go up in flame too. Speaking of which, he's pretty much a flamer as well. Anybody that wants to take ideas from him for decorating, really? You must be desperate. Okay, sorry, whoever it was that recommended it, if you really love him, but I've got to say what I think. In fact, I couldn't even stand listening to him. He is Oh, creepy. Like just in a yuck. I mean, basically, he should give back the toaster oven to the gay community because he's wrecking it for everybody else that's gay and into designing. So I'll probably get something out of this one. Glenn says he's a flamer, but I enjoy some of his talk about not the decorating. Although I've picked up a few things at Pottery Barn because of him. Yeah. Okay. You know who shops at Pottery Barn, don't you, Glenn? Ladies who lunch and gay guys. And not the nice gay guys. Sorry, just saying. Precy says who? Christopher Allen. Just look him up, Precy. You'll find him. He's the one that lives in New York. Okay. But anyways, whatever. I mean, I suppose if he's got something that, gives you an idea, I guess that's a good thing. But really, it just goes to show you, anybody can have a YouTube channel. I hear crickets. So moving on, what am I reading? Okay, speaking of gay people, they're coming out with a movie about this. Yeah, it's called Boy Erased. It's about conversion.
We talked about it last week.
Did I talk about Boy
Yeah,
Erased last
yeah.
week? Okay, well I'm further into it now. It's actually a pretty good book. I mean, it's nonfiction. It's a memoir kind of thing. But I'm looking forward to seeing the movie of this because it's unbelievable what people that went into conversion therapy, what it does to them and what they do to them. It's like, you gotta be kidding. You really think this is healthy to do this to people? But anyways, so what's coming up? Well, we may be going out for dinner with Richard. That's the guy who took all my mother's stuff and everything. He wants to take, see, we never charged him for any of the stuff and whatnot because, I mean, I know him and I knew that he needed the stuff and whatnot. And I think my mother was at first, a little upset that we didn't charge for the stuff. Well, I said to her, Mom, what were we going to charge him? I might have been able to get $500 out of him. But in the big scheme of things, in my mother's case financially, $500 was not going to make any difference. She's not on the bony knees of poverty. I mean, that's not to say that she has like millions of dollars. She doesn't. But she's got enough money that will keep her, and anything that she needs will be provided for from that money for the rest of her life. So we're, $500, it's not going to make any difference, even if that. So it was just nice that he had a truck and everything and moved the stuff out for us. I mean, I thought that was great. But he wants to take us out for dinner.
Not only that, the stuff that your mother had wasn't necessarily.
It's not. I'm surprised a young lad like him, like he's probably in his late 20s. I'm not sure exactly how old Richard is, but, not really the style of young people today. But, I mean, it was good quality. But, whatever. So he was happy to get it. So great. I'm glad that I know has got it and is going to use it, and it helps them out. That's fine. But he wants to take us out for dinner. So we're supposed to go out Friday night, but that fell through. It didn't work out so well. So we're going next Friday night. He's taking us to the Keg or something like that. And, well, that's nice of him. I have a problem with when people take you out or something. I mean, not that it happens every day in my life, but I don't even like getting anything from somebody. Like, except for Walter. But, I know they mean it in the best way, but, I always feel beholden to people when they give me something, no matter what it is, kind of a thing. I don't want to be beholden to anybody, kind of a thing. So, but it's very nice of him that he wants to do this, and we'll go. And it seems his mother says, I think she's going with us too, yeah, it'll make Richard happy. Because we kept saying to Richard, you don't have to do this, Richard. You don't have to do this. And she said, no, let him do it. It'll make Richard happy. That's the way Richard is. So, okay, fine. Free dinner, whatever. Glenn says, well, I have been called an old lady this week. Oh, you have, Glenn? Oh, well, welcome to the club. And Priest says, I hate feeling obligated too, Stephen. And Glenn says, I feel the same way too. I want nothing from anyone, really. Yeah, that's kind of the way I am as well. I don't even know how to take a compliment, like as if I ever get one. But I'm not very gracious. I never know what to say if someone, says nice things to me. I just kind of shrug it off.
Good. I won't say any more nice things.
Oh, well,
to
you've
you.
never said anything nice to me. Like, I don't know. You might have said something nice to me once, like, nice job, idiot. You missed the
Many
floor.
times.
Yeah, see, he just can't handle it. He couldn't keep it into himself. He has to be, good thing you never were a teacher. Because even when I thought something was crap that a kid did, I'd still try to find at least one thing to praise. Even if it was you spelt your name right this time. Yay! Star for you. Yeah, you should have by the time now you're in grade 12. You should know how to spell your own name. But anyways, I digress. Anyways, anything else new and exciting? Anything you want to tell the people? I think our time is pretty much getting there.
No, I can't think of anything.
So let's see. Is next week October? No, next week's the end of September still. Okay, so because I was thinking we may have to do another art attack session. I was thinking of doing them once a month. But we've already done September's. Well, we did in August though, didn't we? Or did we?
I don't know. I can't
I
remember.
don't know. Time flies when you're having fun. Anyways, we'll have to do one again. I was thinking something maybe on a Halloween theme.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I was thinking because that would make a good prep for the class I'm doing in October. But so we may be doing an art attack. Maybe not next week. Maybe the week after. We'll see. Actually, I think the week after is Thanksgiving.
Yeah, isn't it like the first weekend in October or something?
Yeah, I think it is. So I think, a week from this next weekend coming up is Thanksgiving. So here in North America, I'm not sure if it's Thanksgiving. Well, I know it's in Canada, sorry. It's not for the Americans. Americans Thanksgiving doesn't fall until November. Ours comes in October, and it's early this year. And I'm not sure about the rest of the world if they celebrate that or not. Nairi says, Art Attack, Monday, 1st October, public holiday in South Australia. Oh, so that means she doesn't have to get up and go to school. Okay. Well, we'll consider it. Maybe we'll do it next week. We'll see. We'll see what this week brings with it all. So, okay. Oh, yeah, Walter made beef. I was going to say barf bourguignon. Beef bourguignon in the Instapot last night for dinner, and it was good. It was fine.
It was fine.
It was pretty good. Okay, I think that's it for us today, people. So thanks for tuning in. Have a good week. Vlogs tomorrow, and we'll see you next Saturday, or next Sunday. Same time, same bat channel, unless you're told otherwise. Okay, have a good one. Bye-bye. Say goodbye, Walter.
Bye.